I think it's ironic how people's perspectives have changed over the years. I mean, around a decade ago, you would get flamed for watching anime, even get called a weeb for it. Nowadays, you get flamed for not watching it. So, over the past few months, I got into the animation genre a lot, so in this really random video, I'll be sharing my thoughts on it. The good, the bad, and the weird. Oh, and you should also subscribe or something. I don't know. Pretty cool button if you ask me. Anyway, it all started around January of last year, where some weird show on Netflix caught my eye for some reason. And lo and behold, the first anime I've ever watched was Dan to Dan. I only binged the entirety of Season 1, and it didn't give me a very great impression of the genre as a whole. Basically, guy loses his balls, so he fights demons to get it back. That's the plot, literally. But I didn't think much of it after. Later that year, I got recommended to watch Solo Leveling. And I mean, the concept sounded pretty interesting, so I gave it a shot, but the episodes didn't really keep me all too hooked, so I wouldn't watch it as consistently. Fast forward a month or so later, I was being told to watch ReZero all of a sudden, and the only thing I knew about it was that the main character could respawn, which was pretty intriguing. But, I mean, I have to finish Solo Leveling too, and nah, I'm just kidding, I just dropped that BS and went straight to ReZero, and there was not a second where I regretted it. I finished the whole show up to Season 3 in March, and was already getting excited for the 4th season coming in April, but most importantly, I was finally convinced. This genre that was disrespected for so long really wasn't half bad at all. So, I'd spent the next 3 months binging about 25 different animes. I kept track of everything on my notes app, which includes a full ranking out of everything I've watched. So, why not go over them, shall we? My top 4 are all tied in first place with a perfect 10 out of 10 score. So, in no particular order, first up, A Silent Voice. A story about a boy and a deaf girl and how their past in elementary school leads to an unexpected reunion and a lot of mental struggles for both. Oh, and a bit of romance sprinkled in too. It's such a captivating story with symbolism I found myself relating to and something to really shed a tear for. So a perfect score would definitely be an understatement. Next in line is another movie and a classic, Your Name. About a boy and a girl again who swap bodies every day or so and try to live each other's lives. Sounds like a generic story, but the plot twist was something I hadn't seen coming and would eventually lead to the infamous scene. Third up, Cosmic Princess Kaguya. This was all over my TikTok feed back in the day, and honestly, it looked cool, so I watched it. There was way more to that, obviously, but it was the most fun I had had watching a movie, and it was such an emotional story. Oh, and there's Yuri in it too. Last but not least, The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. This one released last year, and it might be the perfect example of a romance anime, honestly, with how they met, to the difference in schools separating them, but the bakery keeping them close, to the pacing and the side plots. I mean, I don't think any romance story could get any better than this, so I had to give it a perfect score. And for some reason, the English dub was being hated on, but it genuinely wasn't that bad either. Definitely a must-watch regardless of sub or dub. Either way, I'm getting sidetracked. We were talking about, anime as a whole, right? Oh yeah, the good and the bad. Well, I mostly focused on romance animes, considering there's a crap ton of those anyway, but the good thing about it was definitely the originality. Sure, there are certain traits that return 80% of them, like they follow some kind of format, but they each have a unique spin to it, whether it would be a bakery, tutoring, extreme social anxiety, or making cosplays. There's something unique in all of them, and that's what I enjoy the most. Symbolism is also something that's used a lot, like the X's over people's heads, the lock separating one's friendship. Sometimes it's even in the title itself. I mean, the list goes on, really. And it's ways in these where you really begin to understand the motive behind every tale, and that's what's so beautiful. Alright, now the bad. Let's just jump straight to the elephant in the room, the fan service. If you're unaware of what I'm talking about, I won't go into extreme detail, but let's just say that some animes like to show things that hint at certain things that aren't necessarily for kids. And sure, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of it, but for some shows, it can definitely get to a point, especially when it is every single episode or has little to no relevancy to the plot whatsoever. I think the greatest example of this is My Dress Up Darling. The main premise follows a guy helping someone make cosplays for her, which mostly ends up in a one-sided romance. And sure, with a concept like this, I can understand where they would be coming from. But god damn, dude, that scene actually, never mind. I still find a rating of 14 plus questionable. But on a serious note, I do want to point out that with the degree it gets to sometimes, it can really make the viewer uncomfortable and just ruin the watching experience. Whatever, enough of that. I guess you shouldn't just let it get to you as much as it did to me. Another thing is that the writing can feel a little auto-repetitive at times. The overall plots are fine, but some of the scenes can feel really out of place. These are usually scenes where the viewer takes the perspective of the MC's mind, or where they just point out the obvious, or when it's just straight up confusing. Here's a hot take. I felt the exact way about Jujutsu Kaisen. Don't get me wrong, I personally gave it an 8.7 after watching the full show, but I definitely felt like the plot got pretty overwhelming. Like in the latest season where they explained the rules of their culling game, man, I'm just trying to watch something entertaining, not have to try and comprehend whatever the hell's going on all the time. The animation definitely carried the whole anime, so I gotta give Mappa credit where credit's due. But whoever was in that writer's room should have been a little more mindful of people as stupid as me. Or that's a bit too selfish, I don't know. Oh, and on top of that, might be because getting a year-long membership on Crunchyroll itself was a horrible investment, but I feel like some of these shows aren't as internationally friendly. Sure, it's not their job to take non-Japanese speakers into account, but to the people that make the subs, I'm surprised they hired you people. The amount of reports I've seen roaming around the internet in regards to translation errors and subtitles are getting very, very concerning. Cut us some slack, man. You know, international viewers still contribute to your paychecks. How about you sympathize with us a bit, will ya? Probably shouldn't lash out too much. That's my fault. It probably isn't as dramatic as I portray it to be, but honestly, overall, anime really isn't all that bad. For example, despite them being different from one another, I like how the animation and art style stays consistent in a way. It makes them recognizable. Or how they're able to tell such captivating stories so well. And honestly, maybe I'm not really in the right position to give my opinion. There's so much I still haven't watched, and being an anime-only person who doesn't give mangas a read, I still wonder if there's a show that isn't adapted from a manga. Asking for a friend. It's hard not to be mistaken for a LARPer. I've come to realize that a lot of anime fans are usually pretty hardcore when it comes to the story. And I'm not saying they're wrong for doing so either. I think it's great, but it's also important to respect each other and be able to have civilized conversations about the source material, because that right there is truly what brings people together. Wait, hold on. I think I lost the plot. Anyway, Komi can't communicate is kinda mid.